What's up guys, it's James Allen, the Out-of-State Investor, and in today's video, we're going to talk about one of the most common questions I ever get asked, which is, what is the best type of property to invest in between a single family and a multifamily property? Now, I've personally invested in both of these types of properties, and I can tell you from personal experience that there are actually pros and cons to each of these types of properties. But with that said, it is important to understand that one may align better with your goals than the other. So it is still important to understand the pros and cons so that you can make the best decision of what's going to align best with your goals. Now, before we get started, do me a favor and smash that like button, and that's going to actually help more people be able to find this video, so I definitely appreciate you guys doing that. And with that said, let's jump into it. All right, so single family or multifamily properties. Well, I want to take you on a quick journey and tell you that I started out with a single family. I've been able to be fortunate enough to invest in some multifamilies, and so it's been a process, and I've been able to see the positives and negatives of both. And honestly, I really do believe that there's ways to make great money regardless of what the property type is. But the reason I decided to stick with single family to start off is because there was a lower barrier to entry. It was easier for me to save up a down payment for a single family property versus a multifamily property. And at the time, I was living in California, which is one of the most expensive areas to be buying real estate, because I was actually in Los Angeles. And so for me, that's the reason why I decided to invest out of state. So for me, I just had to do whatever it took to get into the game, get my feet wet, start real estate investing. And for me, the best way to do that was investing out of state and starting out with single family houses, because that was the lowest barrier to entry. So with that said, let's get right to it, and we'll start with single family. There's pros and cons with single family, and let's start with the pros first. So the first pro with a single family house is your tenants are naturally going to stay a little bit longer, which means that you're going to have a less of a vacancy period, which is really great as a landlord. You see, people see a single family house as their personal home versus an apartment complex. It's hard to kind of get that feel, not having your own backyard, having someone above or beside you that can make a lot of noise and keep you up in the night or even in the morning, give you a wake-up call. So having a single family house to stay in for a tenant is easier for the long term. You're also going to deal with better quality tenants on average. Now, I say this very carefully because if you obviously have a single family house in a D-class area and you have a multi-unit in a B-class area, well, you're probably going to have better tenants in the B-class area. But if you're comparing apples and apples, a B-class area multi-unit and a B-class area single family, or even a C-class area multi-unit and a C-class area single family, the single family is naturally going to attract a better quality tenant. And the reason for this is naturally it's going to cost more money for a single family than a multi-unit in the same neighborhood, so you're attracting someone who's a little more financially qualified that maybe has a better track record and a better credit score. Another pro is there are a lot of comparables. You're talking about so many houses on the market that are always listed. Now, I know we're dealing with a shortage of inventory at the moment, but in general, the amount of single family houses compared to duplexes or triplexes or fourplexes, there is so many. So because of this, it's a lot easier to accurately estimate what a fix and flip might be able to sell for, or if you're trying to do a refinance, what that property might appraise at. And the reason for this is there are just so many more single family comparables versus multifamily comparables. And to add to that, it is even better for an appraisal, because an appraiser will see so many different comps that when you're trying to maybe get that refinance, get that cash back in your pocket, you're going to be more likely to attain the number you're expecting to get. Now, single family properties are also more affordable, and like I mentioned in my journey, that was the reason why I got started in single family, is it was simply all I could afford at the time. So that is a great positive, knowing it's a lower barrier to entry and it's easier to get started in real estate with less money out of pocket in that type of property. You also have 30-year fixed rate financing, which is some of the best financing you can get. It's very predictable. You don't have adjustable rates down the road. You're not talking about a 20-year amortization or 25-year amortization. You have 30 years fixed. That's as predictable as it gets. Another great positive when it comes to single family housing is they're very easy to sell because there's such a huge demand for single families. You're not just targeting investors anymore, you're targeting investors and the general population that just want a place to live. And because of that, it makes it very easy to liquidate if you need to, and that's another great positive to have when you're looking to invest in single family houses. Now, the final pro with single families is there are a lot of inexperienced sellers, people who do not know what their house is actually worth, and that creates an opportunity for off-market where you might be able to find a seller who is willing to sell at a discount for the convenience of getting out of their house for whatever reason it may be, and that creates an opportunity for you, the investor, to get instant equity the minute you buy. Now, I know I listed a bunch of positives with single families, but there are actually some cons, and the biggest con with single family is scalability, right? It's going to be very hard to scale one house at a time, one house at a time, one house at a time. You're going to have to do a lot of transactions to build a massive portfolio, and so that is one of the cons with investing in single family. Another con is there's typically less cash flow with single family houses. You're going to find more cash flow when you look at multifamily properties, or especially big multifamily apartment complexes. Those are going to cash flow a lot better than the single family. Another con is you have the 100% vacancy factor. If you're just getting started in the game and this is your only property, when you go vacant, you have no income coming in anymore. So you don't deal with that if your first property was, let's say, a fourplex. You have one unit go vacant, you still have the other three paying you rent, so you're able to still cover your bills, no problem. Now, obviously, as you build up, as you get to 4, 5, 6 single families, it kind of eliminates that problem anymore because you have the other single families that are able to still pay you rent even if you go vacant in one. But when you're just getting started, that is a negative that comes into play. And the final con with single families is capital expenditures. Now, this is your roof, your HVAC, these big expenses that start to add up. And particularly with roofs, you really start to feel it because with multifamilies, you typically have one roof covering like 4 units, 2 units, whereas a single family, if you had 4 single families, you're going to have 4 individual roofs. And so it can cost you a lot more money to replace 4 individual roofs versus one roof covering 4 units. Now, moving on to multifamily, believe it or not, there's actually 2 different types of multifamily. There's small multifamily, which is really more like 2 to 4 units, and then there's 5+ multifamily. This is what I kind of categorize as apartment complexes, which is anything more than 5 rental units. So first, I'm going to start with 2 to 4 units, and the first positive with the 2 to 4 unit multifamily properties is you have much better cash flow at this point. Okay, the way the numbers work, they just typically work out to provide more cash flow on a monthly basis. The second positive is now you have more doors because you either have 2 to 4 doors that are paying you monthly cash flow. And what this does is this helps you mitigate the risk of having that 100% vacancy factor. So if you have one of your units go out, you're still able to cover most, if not all, your expenses. The third pro with a small multifamily is it's still affordable. And I say this not only because it's still price point wise not too much more than a single family, but if you look at the financing, you can actually get as low as a 3.5% to a 5% down on a multifamily. And that's going to be if you're living in the multifamily property, but you can actually still invest by doing that, because if you're living in one of the units and you have 3 other units paying your expenses for you, you're now in the game and you have 3 tenants paying you monthly rent. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, but you can still do a 3.5% to 5% down on a single family. Again, you have to live in it, so it kind of eliminates the possibility of getting rent. But the hack to that is if you rent by the room. If you own the house and you rent out the rooms, you can also start becoming a landlord with as little as 3.5% to 5% down. And the fourth and final pro with the small multifamily is you still qualify for that 30-year fixed rate financing, which is again the best you can get. So that's a great pro to have when you're looking to buy a property. Now, one of the biggest cons with the small multifamily properties is your tenants are going to be a little little more transient. They're not always looking to stay permanently in a small multifamily property. They may want to eventually upgrade, maybe go to the nicer apartment buildings that have the pools and all the amenities, or maybe even eventually go to a single family house. So you'll find that these tenants that are living in your small multifamily properties are going to be a little more transient than compared to your single family houses. The second and final con with the small multifamily properties is they're still not really scalable. Now they are a little more scalable than compared to a single family, because buying 2 units or 4 units at a time versus one single family, obviously you'll scale up better, but compared to the way you can scale with apartment complexes, there's still no contest in that regard. And the reason I say this is because at this point, the way that the properties are valued are still mainly on a sales comparison approach, whereas what you'll find with the apartment complexes is that all starts to change and they're valued completely differently. Finally, we have apartment complexes, and I love apartment complexes because one of the pros with apartment complexes is they are way more scalable. But first, before I get into that, apartment complexes also larger multifamily properties. These are 5 or more units, and once you hit that point of at 5 or more units, you're now in the commercial multifamily realm. And the reason why they're so scalable is they're valued based on the net operating income, also known as the NOI. You see, if you can decrease your expenses or you can increase your rents, all of these are different ways that you can increase your net operating income, which then in turn ends up raising the value of the property. So this is completely different from the way that 2 to 4 unit buildings or single family properties are valued, which is mostly on a sales comparison approach. So this is the reason why you're able to scale so much faster, because if you can increase your rents, you're also boosting that value up. You can refinance, get a lot of cash back, and scale, scale, scale. Now I do want to mention it's not 100% based on the net operating income. There's other things that go into it, such as the cap rate and things of that nature. So definitely do your research before you start trying to buy an apartment complex and reposition it. Make sure you know what you're doing. The second pro is there's really good cash flow potential with apartment complexes. So that is a really awesome pro to have. And in addition to that, because there's so many doors, you're never really going to deal with 100% vacancy when you start getting to 10, 20, 30, 40 units, unless you're in a really bad area, and you probably shouldn't be buying that building anyway in the first place, but it really eliminates the risk. So that is another pro that comes with apartment complexes. I should add that another pro for apartment complexes is the flexibility in their financing. Not the actual financing terms themselves, but the flexibility in the way they look at you from a lender's perspective. You see, with a residential lender, they have all these boxes they want you to tick. And if you don't tick one of those boxes, then you no longer get access to the loan. So if you have too much debt to income, they're not going to lend to you. Whereas a commercial banker, they're going to overlook stuff like that. And maybe not completely, but they're going to look at the whole entire picture. They're going to look at what your net worth is. They're going to look at your experience. They're going to look at how much money you have. They're going to look at all these different aspects of you from a lender's perspective and kind of use their own perspective to determine whether or not they want to lend to you or they don't. Now, there's 3 major cons when it comes to apartment complexes, and the first one is really the affordability factor. It is a huge barrier to entry, and it's a very hard first investment for an investor. It's something that you normally are working up to after you've gained some experience. The second con is the tenants are still more transient comparatively with the single family houses. You see people that live in apartment complexes, it could work for a period of time, but especially what we've seen with COVID, a lot of people have transitioned from apartment complexes, especially the luxury apartment complexes, to getting their own house with their own backyard and their own space. And the third and final con for apartment complexes is the financing is not as good. You're no longer dealing with a 30-year fixed rate loan. You're no longer got these solid terms in place that they're just going to be very affordable and super low interest rates. Now, there are all sorts of financing options from commercial banks to agency debt, things of that nature. And there are ways to get lower interest rates, but they're just not going to be the 30-year fixed rate that you're dealing with the 2 to 4 unit or even the single family realm. So these are the pros and cons for investing in single family houses, small multifamily properties, and even large multifamily apartment complexes. I really hope you guys gained some real helpful insight. If you guys feel like you gained some value, do me a favor and support the channel by smashing that like button. And also, if you like this content, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, let me know in the comments below if you're looking to start with a single family or a multifamily property, or maybe you already have experience. Do you have a preference of what you like to invest in? I want to know about it in the comments below. Lastly, follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Just search for The Out-of-State Investor and you should be able to find me no problem. I'm trying to post as much content as I can there outside of my YouTube channel, so you'll definitely want to follow me on those channels. With that said, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.